Dan here, Didi Speed Shop.
Dani here, Didi Speed Shop.
So, a couple of days ago, we put out a video, and the comment section has been rolling, which in turn is always my favorite. I mean, some people, I think, they accuse us of just doing stuff to piss the internet off in the comment section on purpose, and that's not all wrong. But anyways, we did this 57 Chevy of hers, which was like a Left 4 Dead hot rod. It was a 4-door, a 2-door converted it. Did it like 3-4 years ago, and it was all together. And then I ended up borrowing a few parts off of it to get my car going, and then the convertible, which is also my car going, and maybe a couple other cars going. So it sat kind of, been a couple years, I guess, since it was on the road. Anyways, it was sitting there, pulled out the snowbank. It was fine. A couple of little issues towing it out, but we got it out. We got it home. And it was a complete car minus motor, trans, drive shaft, headlights, interior, took the seats out of it, exhaust. But everything else is pretty much there. So I put a motor trans in it, and I did all stuff. Now along the way, I may have veered off course for what Dani's version of the car she wanted was. And I put on like slicks and skinnies, and I put in fender well headers and 3-inch exhaust. And well, that's all I really did was crazy, I guess, that I like took the bumper off. And along the way, the internet kept saying, it's Dani's car, let Dani do what she wants, everything Dani, everything about Dani. And I'm like, all right. So we got this thing dialed together. Then she was like, okay, here's what I want to do. And she wanted to take the garnish moldings and go ridiculous with them. So last year at the swap meet, I bought some of these garnish moldings. They were like $50 for a set of 4 or 2, whatever I got. And she decided to paint them hot pink, hot pink, and glitter, and put them in. I can't believe you managed to piss off the internet.
I can't believe the internet's mad at me.
Luckily, I did nothing wrong.
I know, like all of the comments we have are like about me.
So there was like, I don't know, 1,100, 1,200 comments or something like that.
There's a lot to go through.
On that video. So the video we did before, there was like 1,200 or 1,300 comments where people were like, let her do what she wants to her car. We let her do what she wants to her car, and there's like 1,200 comments, which I will say though, most people actually were supportive.
I thought it was even between people that had something to say about the garnish moldings, and then people that had something to say that you weren't using the $5 tool that you should have had to pop off the door handles.
Sometimes you gotta make content. But the funny part of that, I put that video out, and it went through the whole day, and the video did fine. It did what it usually does. I lost 50 subscribers, which typically, not that we're really playing the subscriber game or anything. We're just doing our thing. We're doing our fun. We're putting the videos out. But we're net positive every day. Like usually the channel grows. So it's
not that day.
We'll look at the graph of this thing for the last 3 years of like, steady Eddie. Some days are better than others. And then all of a sudden, whoop, I'm like, whoa. So obviously we can't take internet or Danielle's advice in the future.
I guess not.
But in turn, what it did let us do was it made a video that would be kind of boring, doing garnish moldings and interior, into the glitter, which was hilarious. And now we get to read mean comments, which I love. I know sometimes we get accused of maybe baiting the internet and a few things like that, which we 100% do. But it's so fun. And the people who get it. And the people that don't...
Well, these are them.
It's 2023, man. Like, we're just working in our 2-car garage on junk hot rods.
You know what, though? Shame on me for wanting a car that people would never mistake was anyone else's car but my own.
It's a clown car. That's
Shame
what they told you.
How dare I? How dare I, as a woman, want glitter in my car?
A lot of comments said you shouldn't be in the garage.
Shouldn't be in the garage.
Not a women's place.
I am breaking the rules right now, actually.
You're on a day pass. Visitor pass.
Yeah, visitors pass.
Okay, read some comments.
Okay.
I'm not going to lie. The video started going crazy. I didn't read hardly any of them. And Danielle kept saying, these are my favorites.
All right. Let us begin. We'll start with like the mean ones first.
Whatever you want.
Okay. Tug Mountain Road campers. This is what happens when you mix women and cars.
I do feel like we got in a time machine for some of these comments.
Rob Baker thinks it looks like shit.
I'm not gonna lie, Rob Baker might be right. It isn't my jam, but whatever. It's just they're metal garnish moldings. We can sand them and paint them any
Like
color.
everything we did can be undone. Also, well, we'll get to it. But oops, we created a monster. So I feel like actually B-Man is kind of on my side, but realized that he pushed that, we've given me too much control. Mike P says, there is no way in hell I would go anywhere near that thing, even if I was broke down at the side of the road in need of a ride. Talk about a clown car. Holy shit ski. Say no to drugs. Well, a lot of people thought I was on drugs. I don't do drugs. It does have a strong advantage. By God, nobody in their right mind is going to steal that SOB.
Well, and a lot of people wrote too that you just did that so I wouldn't steal parts off of it.
Which actually, I wasn't even thinking about that, but it's a great idea.
Really? It's like, when you go to like somewhere like they paint marker stuff or do something so you can't just steal it.
Yeah, like at the clothing store, and it'll explode.
You should glitter stuff and I just won't take it.
And you won't take it. That's a really good point. What's up with women these days in these gaudy colors? Well, Gary, I have a few remarks on that. Number one, welcome to 2023. Number two, I think gaudy colors have always existed. And number three, I like pink and blue. That's all I got.
So we're gonna deviate here for a second because this to me cracks me up. Now, a lot of guys that watch this, and whatever, I guess anybody, but hot rods have their thing, and everyone's like, this is the way you build a hot rod now. That's kind of like, especially if you're like Model 8, it's like a traditional hot rod or all these different things. But I think we all forget that hot rodding started by kind of being like the outlaw way of doing things. So if you had a Model A with like a 4-banger in it and you'd take like a Cadillac motor and put it in, or a set of seats out of an airplane, or gauges out of like surplus, or all these things or whatever would work. Or old drag guys, you need like a beefy 12-bolt or a beefy rear end. You'd take like something of a 3/4 ton that would have like 8 lug wheels and just run that in the back because that's the cheapest, easiest way to make power and do your thing. And then you take it to like the George Barris era and all that, where they're like bubble top and like crazy flake and colors and like
guns for handles.
We're in Nashville. There's like, I forget who it was, but yeah, guns and bullets for handles. Elvis was gold everything and all this stuff. And I guess some people probably thought it was gaudy. And then as time goes on, you're like, oh yeah, that's kind of neat. And part of it might be the way we did paint it. We didn't use like a metal flake paint or something. We just glued on sparkles. But I just think to myself that hot rodding was originally like an evolution of the car, and everyone's been like hot rodding doing their thing. And then for someone to poo-poo on it, just thinks to myself, like, you're not a hot rodder.
Yeah, well, you're ruining the fun for everybody at that point.
Go buy a brand new Corvette with warranty is kind of how I look at it.
Like if a kid, so let's say a kid showed up in their 57 that looked like mine. They were like 16 years old. They showed up to your Tri-5 meet. Are you seriously going to tell that kid their car looks stupid? Are you going to do that?
Tri-5 guys would.
Oh man, I gotta say I'm really excited to go to a Tri-5 meet here at home and just watch their brains explode.
We're asked to park not with the club.
Yeah. So anyways, this is a good one. You killed your channel. Unsubscribed. Sorry. So Juan is part of the 50.
He's one of 50.
One of 50.
That's a t-shirt. We should mail him one. One of 50.
Just because we said put the bumper on does not equate to let her do anything she wants. Now you know why we don't let chicks be hot rodders. I really hope your mom is proud of you there, Chris. And I hope that your old lady is also proud.
Sounds like a Chris thing to say.
Definitely does sound like a Chris thing to say. This is what happens when you mix women with cars. It's funny, these comments crack me up because the amount of people that comment that they like that even though I'm not like into cars, I'm into you and you like cars. So like I kind of like cars by association and I like support you. Maybe if you guys have a better attitude, then your old lady or your partner would also be into the activity that you like and wouldn't harp on you for it.
I think cranky people that made these comments probably A, don't even have a hot rod, and B, their old lady hates them or they hate them.
That's possible. Well, it's a lot of resentment, you guys. I can help you with that. Just message me.
No, don't do that.
I like this one. Ain't nothing for you to turn a $3,000 car into a $300 car.
I paid $700 for that car. So we only lost $400 in value.
Well, and that car has no value at this point anyways, really.
Well, we talked about that lots too. Like, people have asked me many times to sell some of the cars I've done, which I'm terrible at selling, really good at buying. But all these 4-door chopped up into 2-doors, what the hell are they even worth? Like, it's, I don't know, maybe as much as a decent 4-door, which is really valueless. And ultimately, your car is a sentimental value because, well, it's your car for one, and it really helped grow the channel. So if it's only worth $300, I should insure it differently. Save a bunch of money.
Okay, we'll do 2 more of the mean ones. These 2 are my 2 top favorites. Okay.
Yeah, go for it.
So Francis, I actually think this is Francis's second comment. Just awful. The spoiled 5-year-old gets her way again. Is different. The Canadian slang for turd sandwich.
What, that was one comment?
Yes.
What else did you get? I feel like usually you get whatever I make. You get what you want again, it said.
Yeah, so that part confused me.
You got one thing a year, you used it up early.
As a woman in the garage, I'm only entitled to 1 item.
Well, you got that in the steering wheel, so you got 2.
Yeah, I did get the steering wheel.
We're not lumping those.
Oh, you know what? He's probably talking about how I wanted a bumper on my car.
Oh.
You might be, because you're caving to the bumper.
It's not on there yet.
True enough. All right, so this one was like my top favorite, but I do think that they were sort of in jest on this one, so that it's a good transition. So DEM says, "Oh my God, this is why it took thousands of years to give them the vote. They got glitter." But then they say, "Don't crucify me. I'm 100 years old and I can't help it." That was probably my favorite.
That's a good one.
That's a good one.
Holy moly.
But, like we were saying, there are way more positive comments about the cars. So I'm going to share some of my favorite ones of those. And there's a lot actually. So I probably won't get through all of them, but so back when we were doing the flooring and stuff, Terrell said, "Fantastic, the car looks good. Now it's time for Dani to help put an interior in it." So he knew.
I don't think he knew. It'd be interesting to talk to Terrell. Is he one of the 50 that left, or is he still?
It was 10 days ago. It says that comment.
Is he still Dani Pawsey?
This one was also pre-interior. Dan, give her the 57 Chevy front bumper back. You gave her the car with the bumper, then began taking parts off for your wagon toy. Be a man and fix it as she wants it, not you. And if she damn wants pink door panels, do them pink. It's her car now. If you don't, you are a sucky kind of guy. 6 days ago.
You got him. Hey, I did everything. I mean, I maybe gave a little bit of attitude, but I went, we picked it, I paid for it, we did it all.
We did. That's the other thing. We spent the entire day together in the garage.
We had enough, though.
Yeah, it was fine for one day.
Yeah, one day in the garage a year.
But now we can look upon that fondly.
Yeah.
I absolutely loved this episode. Dani getting excited for the girly glitter and Dan cringing because he's imagining driving it with glitter. Not exactly manly enough for him. Thanks, Dan, for being a big man and letting the lady have some fun. That's what hot rodding is about, having fun and cruising.
That guy gets it right there.
Jason Boss.
Well
said. Get it. All the other cars and motorcycles are mine to do with what I want. But my wife's car is hers. This is from George. Dani was right to insist, and you were wise to assist. I'm enjoying the build and all the fun you're having. In the end, it's another classic that's not in a junkyard.
What we were talking about the other day, I was talking about guys at work, but I have like 18 cars right now. And that's a stressful number to think about. So the fact that I can donate one to you and maybe the Opal right away here, I get down to like 16, I'd feel much better about it.
John says, "This is funny as can be. It's not the internet's fault, Dan. It's all you. You should have just given her the bumper and left it at that. But no."
What I should have done is I should have finished. This is lesson learned. I should have finished that car properly before we put it away, because that thing never had an interior in it. Because
It only had my one that you lit on fire.
That was just a carpet.
A lot of folks were saying that this was a good excuse to light my car on fire again.
It hasn't happened yet. I might have to do a little welding in there. But the problem with that car, so I had it all together. Well, I made it. It was LS swapped. It was all good stuff in there. And then winter came or whatever. And then the car was sitting. It was going to be spring again. And we were going to do power tour, but then the border was closed. So I put the car away thinking, oh yeah, we'll bring it out in the spring. We'll finish the interior. Because we were going to do a bunch to it. I was going to put glass in it. I was collecting parts. Because I just did it right at the end of the year. I think we got it two-door swapped or something like that. It was literally snowing when we were driving it and stuff. So we did all that and think, okay, it's LS swapped. It's all done. It runs and drives. The driveline's golden. And because we put that Holly Terminator in it, we put the proper fuel tank in. Like, I spent all the money on it mechanically, and it all rebuilt brakes, suspension. We put sway bar on it, like it ran and drove, had good tires on it, and even had good seats in it. Front seats were good. And the back seat was just kind of whatever. And I was like, okay, we'll put it away and we'll bring it back. They just need like a little bit of interior, put the glass in it, a couple odds and ends, and then we were going to take it on a power tour in June. It doesn't start being summer here till like May 15th. So that we'll pull it out, we'll go through it and then go. And then like 2.5 years goes by of we couldn't travel. So it turned into a parts car.
Yeah.
But on the flip side, we did make that convertible, and you wanted to. I asked you last year.
I did. I chose a convertible over my car last year.
I asked her if you want the convertible on the road or her car on the road because I only had enough parts to get one. So we took all the parts I had in the ragtop roadster, and her car just sat.
Yeah.
But I collected parts.
You did. You actively did. I will say that.
It's the year of getting cars on the road. Okay, 2 more, then we're out of here.
Okay. So Dan says, ooh, a fellow Dan. No wonder he's on the good
Must be
side.
good. Team Dan.
Looking good. Cars being customized by her, for her. That's what the hobby is all about. Glad you're letting Dani live her dream. Good man, Dan. And then, last but not least, I like Rogers.
Raj.
I can hardly wait until Dani is building her own car.
I'm ready for it. I tell you. Doing all this labor is quite an ordeal. So I mean, okay. So we do these just for fun. We're not mad at anybody. Nobody get offended if we put you in there. Some people, I honestly think some people put negative comments in there just because they want to be highlighted.
People absolutely do. So if yours is really good, then you've done a good job.
But we just do it for fun. At the end of the day, we're out here on a $0 budget, just putting stuff together, having a good time. And I mean, for whatever it costs, $250 for door panel material and glitter and paint and spray bomb.
A lot of people commented that they didn't like it, but they liked how happy I was about it.
Well, that's the category I'm in. And see, that's the thing I've learned as well. There's lots of cars out there that I hate. And honestly, a lot of them are, the nicer the car is, probably the least I like it. Just because they're too nice to enjoy. And like a show car to me just seems like absolute death because it's an unbelievable amount of money, stress, time involved in it, and you're probably going to drive it the absolute least. Versus Dani's car, I finished it yesterday. I drove it around the block and dumped it in the front yard where it snowed on it.
Yeah.
And that's where it's going to stay until it melts, and we'll soft bumper on there, and a couple odds and ends to be driving it.
Yeah. So when you see my car at, the old car show in town, you can go, I know the crazy person that made that car.
And honestly, it's not even that bad. So it's just the inside. So you don't really notice it unless you walk right up to it. And everything we've done can be undone.
But it won't be because I'm very happy about my
All
glitter.
right. Well, thanks for watching.
Thanks, everybody.
This is like fun little videos for a Saturday. And leave a comment. You never know. Maybe you'll get barbecued on the internet, like us.
And
every
Facebook.
day.
Follow the Facebook because there's some good comments on that one too.
Oh yeah, we're giving it on Facebook lately. It's been a lot of fun. That's where it's easier to chat to you guys. The chatting system on YouTube is terrible. So do Speed Shop on Facebook. Send us junk. We'll repost it. And have yourself a good weekend.
Bye.